here at Cadwell Park. A lot of turns, a lot of twists, a lot of bumps, very, very demanding on the arms, and particularly Steve Parrish with me now on these 750cc machines, Steve.
Yeah, they're very, very fast. They produce around 130 brake horsepower. They have great big fat slick tyres on. They corner extremely fast and have massive brakes on them. So yeah, it's very demanding for any rider, especially in these warm conditions today here at Cadwell Park.
Well, the big four strokes take a lot of flicking from right to left, and of course the stress on the tyres must be considerable.
Oh yes, most certainly. It's a very abrasive circuit here at Cadwell Park, and it does cause some of the tyre technicians problems, especially, as I said earlier, with this heat condition we have here.
Looking at that shot there, Steve, it makes you wonder, is there a limit to how far these machines can be leaned over?
Well, actually, the modern day riding, it's not leaning them over as much because they have so much horsepower. You kind of make a sharpen the corner, you point it, turn it, stand it upright and squirt it, and it's a matter of getting the bike as upright as quickly as possible so you can put that 130 horsepower down on the track.
Well, 130 horsepower, an enormous amount of power delivered to such a small black footprint at the back end of the bike, forcing it along and indeed holding it on the ground in the bends. And this race really is up for grabs. It's anybody's. We've got a wealth of talent at the front. We've got a good point situation with Burnett again leading the table. Roger Burnett on 10 points. Terry Reimer, he's not here, he's on 9. And Brian Morrison, the Honda rider, on 8 points in 3rd place. So, anybody's race, 10 points for a win, 9 for second, all the way down to 10th place. And of course, there is money as well. And it all helps. Now, the riders on the warm-up lap making their way round to the grid, coming out of the wooded section. Once they've lined up on their grid positions, within a few seconds, we will have a very hot race indeed. Before we get underway, Steve Parrish, do you have a prophecy on this one?
No, I don't, I'm afraid, Barry, because, well, if anyone, it's got to be Carl Fogarty. But Ray Stringer went extremely well in practice, and also Roger Burnett. But Carl Fogarty, at the moment, is the man of the moment. He's ridden so well in the TT, won at Assen last week, so if I had to lay money, it would be on Carl. Oh,
on pole then, number 4, Fogarty. Ray Stringer alongside him. Roger Burnett in the middle, number 9. Steve Chambers, and number 73. That's Roger Bennett, so confusion there between the Bennetts and the Burnett's, but a question of which one will do it at the end of the day. There's Fogarty, the RC30 Honda. Clearly you can see there is no suspension arm supporting the rear wheel on the right-hand side of the machine. It's all done from the left. It makes for very, very quick pit stopping, but pit stopping won't be applicable in a 20-lapper. The 750 Superbike races go, and Roger Burnett streaks away, but he's in 2nd place because hitting the front, it's Steve Chambers. Chambers, number 14, hit the front from the word go. A quick starter last time. Steve Parrish, you said it could be it. He's really going well, early days, but sharp off the line.
Yeah, very much so. He anticipated the start. It's just like Speedway, really. If you can anticipate the start and get the clutch home, get a good clean drag, it makes it so much easier. Coming through and passing riders slows you down. So Steve Chambers now breaking into the corner.
Lap 1 of 15, and Steve Chambers on his first lap, so 32.5 miles to go. And Steve Chambers, and Steve Parrish was giving us the lowdown there as Chambers stretched away, but a severe overtaking move put Fogarty through underneath Roger Burnett into 2nd place, and number 38, Andy McGladdery. So that's unusual. Andy McGladdery going well. He appears to be on form.
Yes, he's also just travelled back from Assen the last 2 days, so he'll be race ready and raring to get a result here.
And he'll have done it the hard way in the van, I'm sure.
Yes, he will have.
So number 38, Andy McGladdery, number 38 in 4th place. But the race leader, number 14, Steve Chambers from Lincoln, just down the road, a tool fitter by trade, but a brilliant motorcyclist at weekends, leading number 4, Carl Fogarty. I've got a sneaking suspicion it won't stay that long for much longer, because Fogarty gave a devastating display in the Formula 1 race, and he's on virtually the same machine now, and he's winding that RC30 up behind Steve Chambers. Chambers is on an identical machine, but would it be fair to say, Steve Parrish, that Fogarty's bike may have been tweaked a bit more?
Yeah, Carl Fogarty has some special parts from the factory. As he won the World Championship last year, they've given him some help, and so they should have, because he's riding so well, and the factory have given him a few parts. So I think you'll see down the straight here, his bike will take a few yards out of Chambers, and he might possibly go for the inside and outbrake him, which he is promptly doing. So if he can just keep a tight line on the exit, Chambers won't be able to get back underneath him. Yeah, lovely move.
Well, round park, so Fogarty in front, coming out of Chris Curve, down the downhill stretch towards the gooseneck, which is a right and a left flick, in the left, round the right, and Fogarty leads number 14. Number 4, number 14 in second place, it's Steve Chambers. Roger Burnett is right in touch on another Honda. So Roger, very, very experienced, a wealth of Grand Prix talent under his belt. He doesn't want to repeat what happened in the Formula 1 race and let Fogarty get away too much.
No, but I think he'll be conserving himself a little bit. He had a World Championship race next week, and he still does have an injury from his shoulder that he hurt when he fell off in America. So Roger, knowing the man he is, he'll be happy to have a good ride and get a few points and come back and win next time.
Well, there's a World Championship Superbike race, as you said, in Austria. There is also a World Formula 1 race in Portugal. Burnett is leaving immediately after this meeting to make his way to Austria, and this man, Carl Fogarty, is leaving tomorrow to drive all the way to Portugal to defend his World Formula 1 title. So motorcycle racing is not about weekends, it's about a lot of hard work crammed into the summer months, and the travelling is very, very grueling indeed. And through into second place on the brakes and braking hard, Roger Burnett locking up the back wheel, and Chambers back. 14, Chambers back again, so Roger left it late on the brakes. Steve, that was interesting, but Roger made a bid. Yeah,
actually, Roger made a bit of a mistake there, and that's unusual for Roger. He definitely braked late. You can see it comes in, and you'll see the bike, the rear end, the rear wheel will lift off the ground in a minute as he hits the brakes really hard. See it twisting, you can see a gap under the rear wheel, and he's had to let the brakes off a little bit. He's run wide as he goes in here. He's on the right line, but he's having to brake far too hard, so he'll go in the corner now, but now he'll drift out too wide. Chambers anticipates what's happening, gets on the power. Wonderful exercise.
Well, Chambers presumably would have had his brakes on a little bit earlier and was in more control of the situation, so he came out cleaner. But back again, Burnett and Chambers locked together. Fogarty's on his way, but he's not too far in front, so Steve Chambers, number 14. Chambers on the RC30 Honda, so we have Honda first, second and third. Roger Burnett, a local man, not too far down the road. He didn't have to get up too early this morning to get to the circuit. But look, here comes Burnett again on the inside of Chambers, and Roger Burnett there, beautifully taken through into a much more convincing second place round Charles.
Out of the two bikes, it would be Roger Burnett's and Carl Fogarty's that are very similar. They both have assistance from the factory, and they're coming down in this dip, and they're reaching speeds of about 165 miles an hour before they break down into the 70-mile-an-hour second gear corner at the end.
So the top six as we watch the battle for fourth place on lap 4. Carl Fogarty, Steve Chambers, Roger Burnett in third, Andy McGladdery. Number 29, David Griffith from Wales in fifth, and Steve Hislop, multiple TT winner, in sixth place. Not really cutting it with the short circuits, Hislop, but now tremendous overtaking action. That is super, really very, very clean indeed. So there's Griffith, and there's number 38, Andy McGladdery.
Yeah, Dave Griffiths is right back on form again. He's had a bit of a lean period, but he's riding really well there. And the way he nipped past Andy McGladdery, it was a nice little manoeuvre.
So Griffith now has got Chambers in his sights. David Griffith, number 29, leads Andy McGladdery. Griffith from Lutterworth in Warwickshire or Leicestershire. It's on the border, but Lutterworth just by the side of the M1. David Griffith, Andy McGladdery there, number 38, tucked in his wheel tracks. From Darlington, McGladdery, Griffith now stretching